All right. Good morning, everybody. It's Feature Friday, which means we talk about features. And I like there's some foreshadowing. I don't have any new features to talk about today because we're working on a very, very large project feature that hopefully will be live soon. And so that all our effort has been going in that way. But what I thought I'd do is based on kind of some of the stuff that I've been seeing through the live chat. By the way, if you have a question, if you have a problem, you need help, that live chat it's in the lower right corner of your screen on all Pagewheel pages is me. So like, if I can't help you, I will find someone to help you. Or we can just chat and send fun emojis and GIFs back and forth. I'm totally fine with that too. So anyway, so based on kind of what I'm seeing within that chat is kind of where I'm heading on this. And so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen, which is going to take us over to Pagewheel. Shocker. We're going into Pagewheel. And I'm going to take you through 3 different places that you can add your logo. Okay. So one of the questions that came through recently was, hey, I want to brand this with my logo. How does that happen? And so I thought it'd be kind of fun to go through kind of the different places that you could use to do that. So I am on the offer page. So this is this is the first page of the website. Like you could click through to the website from any digital product. And that's where I am right now, because this is where one of the places we actually have like, put your logo here. But you're like, but Holly, I don't see it. It's because we hid it. So no wonder you have to ask. So what I want you to do is go up to the header, and we're going to use the little spinner or the refresh. And you're just going to refresh it and see, look, there's one that has an upload logo here that has links here. There's one that has no links and has the up. I know it doesn't look that much different, but is a different layout. And then go back to. So there's actually 2 different layouts that have the ability for you to add your logo on the kind of the header of the offer page, in case you're like, hey, I want to make sure they know that it's me, the logo situation there. So the other thing that I've seen, like, let's say you don't want the little logo, but you want to make it more of an effort somewhere else, is that any of the images that you have on the site, you could change into a logo space. Right now, that means that you would have to, it would have to be kind of in the same aspect ratio, the image would have to be, but you could easily edit that into like PicMonkey or Canva to create that. Or you could choose another, like if we just go in here and add a section, you could do an image section and choose something that might work there. And we're going to be adding a few more of those to knowing that you guys might want like a square or something like that. So watch for that. So anywhere there's an image, you could replace it with a logo. And that is going to become foreshadowing alert. One of the features that we're working on will allow you to make it a lot easier for you to put any size photo into any size section. So that will be much better. So let's go back to, so on the offer page, and then similarly on the thank you or delivery page, same thing, you'll be able to do in an image or in the header. But then let's go back to, what about the digital product? So let's go into this. And one other question was about just while we're here, was about the custom colors. See that this comes as my first default. But if you open up yours, this is not the first one for you, because you probably didn't choose all these super bright colors to use over and over and over again. So what happens is whatever you kind of used last is going to default into that first position. And so if you change it next time you come in, you'll likely see that. All right, so let's go to the next one. Now, this is where right now we do not have the ability for you to put the logo on your cover, except you could always create a cover somewhere else and then upload it as a PDF. And you can do that first, or you could do that in the next step. And then just set that as the first page of your book, and then choose the no cover option. And what the no cover option means is, hey, we're going to pull the first page from your product and use it as a cover. So it's actually not, we're lying. It's totally not a no cover option. It's just a first page option. So, and then once we get into the digital product situation, anything that has the ability to add an image or shadowing, that's going to get a lot easier soon, is where you can put a logo as well. So a lot of people, like if we go into like the add a page, the about me pages that have multiple, you might put your face in one of them, your logo in one of them, you know, something else in one of them. You don't always have to use it for like 3 people on a team or something like that. You can get really, I've seen a lot of you get really creative with some of these spaces. Or like this one works really well for my logo at Kids Activities Blog because it's a round logo and I can just fill up that space and make it really pretty. So there, and these again will become more flexible as we move forward. Here again, there's 2 images on that one as well. So, all right. So that is one thing that we wanted to address. The next thing I want to address is the event page. So let's go back to and you can go on any, we could start a new product obviously and create a workbook or a handout that we might want to put with an event, or we can use one of the ones we already have and go straight to the website. When you create an event, it's always going to default to this digital product sales page or offer page. And you can see it's like the pretty standard. It's the one that most people use for everything, or that in the only one we had for the long time. So it's the one that's kind of the basis of all these other pages. But let's say you want to do a workshop or something else. What you're going to do is choose this live workshop option. And right now that means a live online workshop. Now, someone who might be in this room made the really good point that why is it online? Why can't I use it for my in-person? And we were like, we didn't think of that. You've never heard that from us before. We're always saying we didn't think about it. Give us a few weeks. So soon this will also give you the ability to put, hey, this is the location. Hey, this is where you're coming. This is your, ticket RSVP. We're also in, because the other thing that even for the live online events that you guys had some feedback we had is, hey, can I say only 10 seats or something like that? So obviously that's even more important in a live in-person event. You don't want to oversell something or like invite 30 people to something, your kitchen table. So that the ability to limit or to sell a certain number of tickets is something we're working on as well. So what you're going to do is just fill this out. So we're going to use this as a live event. I mean, a live online workshop. So we're going to do kids lunchbox packing event online. So you choose the date and the time. Randomly choose 9:11 a.m. and you can set this to your time zone. And then if you do want this recurring, you can. And then your event. So I would send them to my Zoom and then the calendar link. For those of you using this right now or hacking it into a live event, you could use this calendar link to create how in the your Google Calendar or something else, you can put time, place, all that kind of stuff. So you could actually probably hack this into using it for your live event right now by using that event link, the calendar link versus the event link. It doesn't work?
No, I'm in that's partner in crime, and we already tried to hack Pagewheel, didn't we, in that?
So what about it did it not allow you? Did it not allow you to you couldn't leave the event URL off?
Right, exactly.
Okay. I'll see if I can get them to fast pace that, because that should be just a check mark. It's not a required field.
Yeah, it should. That would be amazing. And there's some other people already commenting in the chat that
Okay,
yes, they would love
perfect.
that ability.
Got it.
Could you
So
do it as a an opt-in, you know, and the response email is the invitation with the location, if it's a physical event, or whatever information you need
right.
to put in there.
Yeah. And I think that's because, remember, in fact, let's go there for a second. I'm going to save this. Remember, when we go down here, there's going to be all this text that you could add additional information. Meaning, you know, when you get to the next page, you can grab the calendar link, because the calendar link is not going to show up on this page anyway. It's going to show up on the next page, especially right now before we've got this live event situation. Likely we'll make it so that you can choose whether you're going to show it at this point, because the other thing, especially with small events, you may not want to give away that location and stuff like that until they've paid. So it's likely that to a certain extent, you might have, like, you know, San Diego on this page, kind of like we say online, this page, but then on the next page say, okay, here's the actual address and time in that, you know, more details. So you can always use this, edit this to give, like, hey, this is an in-person event. On the next page, you'll be given more details, you know, that kind of stuff. So, you know, it's in this section of town. So we'll see if we can make sure we can get this place, or at least give you the option to say offline out there. All right. So then, but the other thing is, but like, as to Sean's point, by the way, is I know until we have all that functionality out there, you could use this, and you wouldn't even have to use the event page for this. You could use the whole process of this download as an RSVP. Say, you know, like the act of, and, you know, just change up the language. We don't, obviously AI is not going to write that for you because it has no idea what you're doing. This is one of the reasons why humans are still really required here, is that, but you could say, in order to RSVP for this event, you need to go through this process. You need to buy this, you need to or you need to RSVP through this, because remember, you will get them on your list for this product on the other side of this page. So this gives you a little bit more flexibility, and also you'll be able to remember, once we get to the next step, you can give them way more information. This is the delivery page. So you could give them a whole bunch of information that you may not want to put on that front page. And then remember, we're also going to have the delivery email that you could give them a whole bunch of more information as well. So this also could, hey, meet me at, you know, this location at this time, you know, all that kind of stuff. But one of the things that Annette was talking about when we were talking about the RSVP is that I think it's really important for you to give them a way to contact you directly, because remember, this email comes from Pagewheel. So down here, we've defaulted to giving them an email just to remind you that you might want to say that. So in this case, I might say, you know, any questions, reach out to me at, you know, my email, or something like that. And you, at this point, remember, these are the people that have either paid you or come through whatever, like, obstacles you've put in your place to make sure that they are qualified and, you know, and are supposed to be in that room. So you could even potentially give them a phone number or, you know, somewhere else to contact you too. So with the events, it's a little bit different. It's usually, you know, you're not talking 1 to thousands unless you're throwing a convention. But it's usually, you know, hey, we're doing a workshop, or hey, we're doing this. So gives you a lot of different flexibility. Any suggestions or ways you've used this in different ways? I'd love to hear it. Oh, now you're all shy. Yeah, that's right.
Kim,
Yeah.
share what you just shared in the chat with the group in case they missed it in the chat.
Yeah, I'm not, let me stop sharing so I can read the chat.
What am I supposed to share about, Eileen?
How you use Facebook Live.
Oh, okay. So I used to do painting parties in person. So before I ever met you guys, it was my first sort of online venture. So I used a Facebook page and I used to set up the event on the Facebook page for local people. And you can do a local Facebook event basically. So it'll give an address and all that. So I use that, and you could use that as your URL if you wanted to, and what I'd probably do is take that event and pop it inside and say, hey, if you want to get notified on Facebook as well when this is coming up, they just click and sign up in the event, and then you can you've got them on Facebook too at that point. So, but yeah,
I
it used to
love
be,
I love that, Kim. And then remember, you could always be adding extra links or using that button, or we even have the ability to add a button. I don't know how many buttons you want on one page, but like, yeah, you could go crazy. But like the other thing I would say with, and I, I would really like to, in fact, I need to make a note of this, but on that delivery page, I think a step-by-step of the delivery process is always super helpful. So hey, you just RSVP'd for this event. Step 1, download the workbook. Step 2, read the email. Step 3, remember this is where we're meeting. Step 4, you want a reminder. Here's how you get it. Step 5. So you could take them through that process, and that gives them the peace of mind that they just like that you're organized. You're actually going to throw this. They didn't like buy something from some random person on the internet. Even though they may have.
I have on my sales page, I have, because my audience is older, so they're not super techie, so they don't realize they should stay for the thank you page. And they're like, where's the email? And there's a lot of customer support, okay, which I'm learning to do, but I finally put it on the front page, Kim. Here's what happens next when you click buy. This page is gonna open. Don't close your browser. Watch for an email from no reply.
Yeah, I love that. And you could have that list on the front page. You can have the list on the delivery page. You can repeat that list in the email, because like there is no point where someone's like, wait, you reminded me too much, or you gave me too much information. No, it's often the opposite, because we're overwhelmed with information like online in our inbox. So all these things really can help remind your people they really want to come. If you're not bothering them, they really want to come.
And they want you to make it for them. Like, if you can say that, if all I have to do is put a little, like it's a cut and paste, here's what's going to happen next, right under the buy button, right? And, important, read this. And then it just says what the next step's going to be, like what they can expect. Because I've bought lots of different things online, and every system runs differently. You don't know if you're going to get a thank you page or an email or you kind of just, you're not sure. So you kind of wait and hang around for 10 seconds. And that's because I know, right? If I don't know that, maybe a thank you page is coming up, or maybe they'll send me an email, I'm likely going to buy and hit close and expect an email from the person, not necessarily from no reply.
Right.
So.
And to that point, one of the things that I do on my own, like especially with opt-ins, is like I have a video that will pop up. It'll say, hey, thanks for opting in. You're going to get this in your inbox. It's going to come from this. You don't see it right away. It usually takes a few minutes. This is the email address. In the meantime, let me tell you a little bit about something else that you might like. And guess what? It's a paid product. So because you have them captive, like at that point, they're like, I want this thing, I want this thing. And so they're willing to and that also cuts down on customer service. So like you could say, hey, I'm going to follow this up with an email. You're going to get it. You can like grab, it's going to look like this. The subject line is this or something like that. But in the meantime, hey, have you thought about this? Well, here, you can get that by clicking on a link below or something like that.
So are you putting that video on your Pagewheel thank you page?
That's where I would put it in Pagewheel, because it's right after the sign up process. Now in Pagewheel, they do have the delivery button right below them. So, but they don't necessarily know that. And remember, you can do that spinner and put a video up there if you wanted to. And the other thing that a lot of you may not be using, because I forget it about it all the time, is any section on any of our pages can go up and down with a little arrows. So like, let's say you put a little video and it says, hey, thanks for opting in. I'm Holly. Like you're just push the button below to download what you just bought. By the way, I'm also going to send an email because I know you're busy today and you may not have time to download it, and it's going to come here. And then, while we're chatting, like, here's some more information or something you might not have thought about, or maybe you don't know about this that I already have. I have this other thing that you might want. And at that point, like, remember, they have come to you and have interacted with you in exchange for something. So it doesn't seem weird at that point.
Thank you.
I'm just kind of thinking out loud here because Flow Justice implemented this, and it's kind of like what I'm sure ConvertKit calls it tags. Flowdesk calls it segments. In Flowdesk, I could make a segment and I can point it at a link that's been clicked on, right? So if they click on this link, it adds them to that segment. That might work for getting them into my email list easier than trying to figure out Zapier with a million different products.
Yeah, I think that would, and simplify things too. Like the other thing that happens, if you're giving free stuff away, people usually don't get super annoyed on that. So like, if you're like, hey, do you want to be on my freebie list? Click here, I'm going to send you something every time I send it, make it. And they like, if they like actually already have it, they're not usually super annoyed because they know it's a process. Cynthia.
I think it's a great way to track, who's coming through too, even on the paid product. If they click on something inside or on the sales page, I mean, you could go a million ways, but as long as they click the link, they automatically get added to a segment. I know more about them. So I'm using it today as a sales tracker and Pagewheel. I've just sent out my list. And if they click to buy and maybe they go to the sales page, but they don't buy, I'll know how many have gone.
Right.
And then how many sales I made.
Yeah, exactly.
So my question, I have 3 questions. I've been taking notes. That's what I always do, take notes. So has anybody tracked? I know we did at the very beginning with Janine when we set up our Zapier, which for anybody who hasn't done that, it's super easy. You just especially now, you just click buttons. Super easy. But has anybody tracked how long it takes for somebody to send up and for it to show up in our autoresponder? Because I've been concerned about that. And my autoresponder is Active Campaign, so there's no way that I know that I've gotten a new subscriber. I don't think. I'm gonna have to check. I usually have it checked to let me know, but when it comes over from Zapier, I might have to do some rigging to make that work. So that was my first question. My second question is on the no reply, because I've had problems with this. I know when I sign up for some of you guys' stuff, right? At the Up North Talk, you guys's. So when I get it, I'm thinking, where in the world is that email? So I start searching for no reply to try and find it. What is the subject line? And I'm sorry, I just woke up this morning, so I'm not really sure if my brain's cooking. So is it different, or can we look for a subject line, tell them what to look for, or is it always the same?
So
the name of our product.
You're going to put your email headline in here. So, because
I never noticed that.
Yeah. So remember, you're writing this. We're writing this email, but you're rewriting this email.
Okay.
You are in control of this, but it's a really good question, Cynthia. So you might always put some sort of words, that's more branded for you on that email headline, like it's here, or, just delivered, or just what you're looking for, so that if you do make that video, you might be able to repurpose it for multiple things, or you might just shoot it for this one thing that you're doing and say, hey, I put the subject line this, so if you search this word, you're going to find it real easily.
Okay. Because if you guys are doing anything, I usually will try and join, just number one, for support, but a lot of times you're doing something that I want to know.
Amazing.
And so I did something with most of you guys know Bryce, and I could not find his link until I was like 10 minutes late for his meeting because I couldn't find his link. So I'm thinking if I, who knows where it looks like, am having that kind of trouble, what would my customers do? So I think Kim's right on track. Kudos to you, Kim. Great idea to put it everywhere. And to you also, Holly, I'm going to use that video idea. So thank you so much. Great idea.
Yeah, and let me see. I know it comes from one email, so you could also use the email that, that it comes from Busy. I have to look it up. It might be a Busy address. I'm not sure. I'm searching for one that I opted in from one of you guys. But yeah, the other thing is you can always test it, like opt in for your own thing, so that you can see it too. Eileen.
I just wanted to share, I have something to add to Cynthia's questions. As far as auto responder process speed, how quick it goes from Pagewheel into your auto responder, I'm using MailerLite. It could be different based on what platform you're using, but I was double and triple, quadruple checking everything because otherwise how do you know everything's working the way it's supposed to? So I had participated in some bundles where I had created freebies, and I wanted to be sure that what I was seeing on Pageville was lining up with what was showing up in MailerLite, and it was. So I think I can confidently respond that, and it was very quick. Also, that's the other thing. I would check dates in Pageville and then look in my MailerLite subscriber information. So that's number one. And then number two, Kim had a question about how Zapier handles when you have multiple products. What I had to do again in MailerLite was I set up different subscriber campaigns, and I have as generic a one that I can make for a welcome, because I don't want to have to recreate my welcome 150 gazillion times. And then I have everybody go into my nurture campaign, and so far it's worked, and again, on my own learning curve, I have learned to go back and check my internal metrics in MailerLite to make sure. I have an email where I said, hey, click here for this download, and the link wasn't my bad, right? The link didn't go where it was supposed to go, but because I was looking at those metrics, I could see that one subscriber had clicked multiple times. So I was able to write an oops, I messed up email. But I then was able to go back in MailerLite and track just how many people went back to get that thing. So it was like, yay me.
I love it. Yeah. So, and I mean, I hate to say this, but I think we all know this, is just sometimes just looking at things over and over again, looking at your metrics. Like right now, like I know there's something wrong with, I don't think I'm tagging my new people, correctly at Kids Activities blog, because the number is not what it should be, and I've looked at it long enough to know, but that's an alert that tells me, go spend a half an hour and figure out what's happening, in the next few days before this gets out of control. So and that's one of the reasons why you do want to look at your numbers every once in a while, and not to pour over them, or I'm not a spreadsheet girl and all that kind of stuff, but just so some basic things, so if you're going in the right direction or the wrong direction, or if you're stable, and you don't know why, or just it alerts you to things. And so I love that, Eileen. Thank you so much. All right. Anybody have any questions before we go take on this weekend? We've solved everything. It's such a good feeling. All right, guys, it has been super fun hanging out with you today, and I will get this video up over the weekend, and go forth and have an amazing weekend. I think it's going to be a good one. The weather should be nice, hopefully nicer for those of you in the South. My gosh. So, all right, guys, have a good one. Bye.
Thank you.